James Baldwin was born on August 2nd, 1924 in Harlem, New York, and passed away on December 1st, 1987 in St. Paul-de-Vence, France. He was the oldest of 9 children and grew up with his single mother, Emma Jones. While he's known for longer pieces of literature such as novels, memoirs, and essays, his piece, Sonny's Blues, became a classic. The short story depicts the systemic issues facing African Americans in 1950s Harlem through foiling the nameless narrator and his heroin-addicted brother, and illustrating the growth of their relationship as the story progresses. The narrator of the story is Sonny's older brother, who feels that he has taken control over his life by pursuing traditional methods of success by becoming a high school algebra teacher. Sonny, on the other hand, is an extremely carefree young man who thinks restricting himself from wants in life will make him miss out on its most precious moments. Music has become his form of self-expression and is pursuing a career as a jazz performer. Sadly, this adventurous attitude led him to becoming a heroin addict. Baldwin foils the two brothers to show their total opposite personalities. This is demonstrated when the brother says, "You know, people can't always do exactly what they want to do." And Sonny responds with, "I think people ought to do what they want to do. What else are they alive for?" This brotherly dispute is cyclical nature exemplified through their father and unknown uncle. Before the passing of their mother, she confesses to her son about his uncle's tragic death. She worries that he will eventually give up on Sonny and stop watching over him. As she said, "And don't let him fall, no matter what it looks like is happening to him, and no matter how evil you gets with him. You're going to be evil with him many a time. But don't forget what I told you, you hear?" The narrator couldn't bear to see so much concern on their mother's face, and made a promise that nothing bad will ever happen to Sonny. He felt as though he can control the world around him by acting responsible, but his mother just smiled, knowing that there's nothing he can really do. This arrogant attitude, Baldwin shows the reader the judgmental outlook the narrator has on those around him. While he was walking home from work, he saw a barmaid through the screen and said, "When she smiled, one saw a little girl. One sensed the doomed, still struggling woman beneath the battered face of a semi-whore." He didn't even know the woman, but assumed that some of the highest intelligent people could never work at a bar with those drunken fools. He's not only pompous, but is quick to anger when thinking about his younger brother, Sonny. The narrator ran into Sonny's friend, who is an addict himself, and after saying rude remarks, he paused to realize, all at once something inside gave and threatened to come pouring out of me. I didn't hate him anymore. I felt that in that moment I'd start crying like a child. He was never mad at the childhood friend. He was guilty about breaking the promise. He did give up on Sonny. His constant battle with control reaches a turning point when his daughter passed away. He said, "I think I may have written Sonny that very day that little Grace was buried. I was sitting in the living room in the dark by myself, and I suddenly thought of Sonny." At this moment, he realized that complete control is unreachable. After losing his child, his mind turned to the next person he could lose if he didn't do something: Sonny. His pride diminished, and he finally reached out to his brother. While they began to talk again, Sonny saw this change and started to break down the privacy barriers that he had on his own. As Susie Bernstein Golden said, "For the first true acceptance of himself, Sonny tells the narrator, 'You're my brother.'" This shows how open Sonny is becoming with the issues since he previously moved away from Harlem to escape the harsh reality of his addiction. As he looked out the window, he invited his brother to come watch him perform at a jazz club. The day came and the two were on their way to the venue. The older brother took a seat in the corner while Sonny was up on stage with the band. As he began to play, the narrator said, "Sonny's fingers filled the air, his life, and that life contains so many others." The blues Sonny played allowed him to tell his story of pain, addiction, and loss. He saw Isabel, Sonny, Grace, his mother, father, and that moonlit road where his uncle was killed. Bernstein Goldsman summarizes the importance of this performance as, Sonny's music stirs special memories in the brothers' lives, but these blues belong to all of us, for they symbolize the darkness which surrounds all those who fail to listen and remain unheard by their fellow men. After the song finished, the brother buys Sonny scotch and milk, which the waitress places at the top of his piano. Sonny gives him a nod across the room, and at that moment, the brothers finally understood their differences.